Going on, everyone? John Matrix here. Hope you're all having a wonderful day whenever you're watching this. Today we're going to be checking out SCP-2173, an interdimensional Mexican standoff, Euclid pattern screamer SCP by the Volgun. This one has been requested by some people in the community here, so we're going to check this one out. No idea really what to expect other than international to Mexican, interdimensional. I don't know why I keep wanting to say international. Interdimensional Mexican standoff, so that would imply some kind of multi-dimensional thing going on where, I guess kind of like maybe a Cold War situation where they're preparing to fight each other, but nothing really happens, I guess. I don't know. So, we'll find out here. Again, this is by the Volgun. Links will be down below in the description to his channel and to the original video of his. So if you do me a favor, click those links, check out his content. He has a lot of great content for the SCP universe. Yeah, and if you like this video of his, then please go over there and give this video of his a like. Normally I'm doing these reactions live for my YouTube members. So if you'd like to join in the discussions that we have before, during, and after, as I'm doing these reactions live, would love to have you guys come in here and join us. You can also get early access up to a week, sometimes even longer, for videos that I'm putting out. So if any of that has any interest in you, you can click the join button down below. Check out the YouTube membership tiers, see which one has any interest for you, if at all. And if you'd like to take your support to the next level and support me monetarily, would greatly appreciate it, as it helps me concentrate on being able to focus on YouTube content for you guys. But regardless, I just greatly appreciate you guys coming in here and taking the time out of your busy day to check out the videos. So with all that said, shameless plugs done. Let's check this video out here. So again, this is SCP-2173, an interdimensional Mexican standoff pattern screamer SCP by the Volgun. So check this out here. Volume, monitor, let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller.
Dr. Miller.
And the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-2173. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. As SCP-2173 appears to be stable, containment procedures are primarily geared to prevent public knowledge and interest in SCP-2173. Equipment at 10-meter intervals along the edge of SCP-2173 and 10 meters outside its edge will automatically monitor interior atmospheric content of SCP-2173 and its current diameter. Any change in SCP-2173's atmospheric content or diameter are to be reported to Containment Site 2173's director immediately.
Interesting. So atmospheric content can change and or diameter. So I assume that means, if something, I'm assuming right now that this is some kind of like dimensional hole that things can pass through. And as something is coming through, the diameter and atmosphere would change, giving more atmosphere coming out from that dimension or whatever, the hole would expand, letting us know that matter or something would be coming through that, portal. I assume that's what's going on from what they've explained so far.
A 0.5 kilometer security perimeter is to be maintained around the outer border of SCP-2173. All roadways granting access to SCP-2173 are to be barricaded and guarded by armed Foundation personnel fluent in American English, wearing current U.S. Army utility uniforms and equipped with current U.S. Army MBC, nuclear, biological, chemical protective clothing.
Interesting. So it says all roadways. This seems like obviously there are roads that are going into and out of whatever this is. And is this some kind of military base, or what once was a military base that has been taken over by the SCP Foundation to, obviously secure whatever it is? And so that's part of the cover, is to wear military uniforms. And obviously with nuclear, biological, and chemical protective clothing. Interesting. And obviously this seems to be somewhere in America, as they need to be fluent in American English. So I would assume, obviously, American accents. Which is weird, being, you don't think you have an accent when you're just used to talking, to other people of your country, but then, you know, obviously I'm sure various people from, you know, other countries hear me talking here and they're like, God, that's a weird accent. You sound weird, you know? Anyway, let's continue.
Similarly equipped personnel are to patrol the established perimeter, which will be marked with signs and surrounded with concertina wire. Any civilians attempting to gain access to SCP-2173 are to be given a cover story detailing an uncontained spill of nuclear waste in the area. Class C amnestics are permitted for use on civilians that manage to break the perimeter.
I wonder what the different class of amnestics. Obviously I would assume that has to do with the grade of amnestics. You know, meaning how long back or whatever it would mess with someone's memory. And I'm assuming, you know, there's various grades for how much that would be, with some being so potent as to probably wipe the person's memory entirely. Some, you know, only certain, you know, amounts of time or whatever. But I'd be interested to know, I guess, what the different classes of amnestics are supposed to be, and for each, like, I guess what use case they would have, you know what I mean? Like where's the line for each grade for you know, how much time essentially they're trying to erase someone's memory for.
Class B amnestics are permitted for use on former residents and friends and family thereof of Delmarsh, Maine.
Interesting.
All public aerial and satellite photographs of SCP-2173 are to be doctored to present consistency with the cover story. An aerial robotic probe is to explore SCP-2173 using thermal imaging weekly. Any changes within SCP-2173 and all additional exploration requests are to be filed with Containment Site-2173's director. Any sign of hostility on the part of SCP-2173-1 is to be negated without provoking further hostility.
So it specifically is saying any hostility on the part of SCP-2173-1 is being negated without provoking any further hostility. So obviously they don't want to increase the situation here. They want to de-escalate it. So wonder what it is then.
Description.
Here we go.
SCP-2173 is an intangible 1-kilometer diameter dome enveloping the majority of Delmarsh, Maine, United States. The atmosphere inside SCP-2173 is approximately 70% carbon monoxide, 25% argon, and 5% chlorine, and other trace gases. Any gases flowing through SCP-2173 are converted almost instantly into the same gases as the rest of its atmosphere, and all gases flowing out are converted back to Earth standard. Manned exploration is impossible because of this.
So, any gases... almost instantly the same. Interesting. So anything going in is converted to its gases that are native to its whatever atmosphere, and then anything coming out are then converted back to Earth standard. Interesting. It makes me think of, you know, like how trees work, where they take in carbon dioxide and, you know, put out oxygen, and we bring in oxygen, put out carbon dioxide. So I wonder if that's kind of like a situation where that is happening here, where it takes in, you know, our atmosphere, filters out these, you know, specific gases, and then releases back, you know, gases that we would want, nitrogen, oxygen, etc.
See initial exploration log. SCP-2173-1 are sapient humanoid beings apparently native to the environment present within SCP-2173. They have demonstrated technological capabilities that exceed that of modern human society.
Interesting.
SCP-2173-1 instances are bipedal and estimated to be approximately 2 meters in height on average. They appear to be endothermic. Little else is known about their biology or their culture because of the lack of physical interaction between SCP-2173-1 and the Foundation. Recovery. On 02/09/1998, Global Occult Coalition operatives carried out a raid on a Chaos Insurgency facility several kilometers north of Delmarsh, Maine. Foundation agents in the area were acting as escorts to the GOC convoy. The raid was successful with no critical GOC casualties. Several anomalous items were recovered by the GOC, including Also, among the recovered items was an interdimensional portal, tentatively designated as SCP pre-recovery, being operated by the Chaos Insurgency as a means of communicating with SCP-2173-1.
So the Chaos Insurgency had ties with this other species of people that live in this other dimension, and were probably using their dimension as a means of jumping from wherever they are here to their dimension and then back,
with the suspected intentions of securing anomalous weaponry. As the convoy approached Delmarsh, an ambush by the remnants of the Chaos Insurgency garrison destroyed several GOC vehicles using anti-tank weaponry, including the cargo truck carrying SCP. Whether the destruction of this item was intentional is unknown at this time.
You would think
when the
not,
item
right?
was destroyed, the area designated SCP-2173 was quickly enveloped by its current atmosphere. Foundation assets and local emergency responders carried out evacuation procedures, while better equipped Foundation assets mobilized to contain the anomaly.
So there was a raid on a Chaos Insurgency facility. The GOC and the SCP teams recovered an item that had interdimensional properties. The Chaos Insurgency's survivors, created like a counter ambush, destroyed the vehicles, and in so doing, accidentally destroyed whatever this interdimensional device was, and seems to have created this bubble of multi-dimensional space, whatever, where you can now travel in between, dimensions, I would assume. That seems to be what happened.
The GOC has been informed of the fate of their agents, but all further information regarding SCP-2173 has been kept within the Foundation to limit complications to diplomacy with SCP-2173-1.
That also sounds like the people in SCP-2173, don't want to be known. Interesting.
For further information,
I wonder what the Chaos Insurgency were doing, like what they did to grant them, what the Chaos Insurgency did for 2173-1, those people, to grant them access in and out of their dimension.
Regarding SCP-2173's origins, see recovered document SCP-2173-4. Recovered document SCP-2173-4. The following excerpts are transcribed documents recovered from SCP-2173.
Now, this is supposed to also be a pattern screamer situation, right? So far, I haven't really heard anything that ties into what I know of what a pattern screamer could be. So I don't know if this is a different type of pattern screamer or they just haven't brought this up yet. But anyway, let's continue.
Note: several excerpts from document 2173-4 have been redacted for brevity or because of references to information classified above level 3 security clearance. Names of specific individuals have been censored. Access to full documents requires level 4 security clearance. Recovered document 2173-4 is believed to have been authored by person of interest 952404, Ephialtes.
Ephialtes, that's the name of the guy that betrayed the Spartans to the Persians at the Battle of Thermopylae, if I remember correctly. Interesting. So, cover document to have been authorized by person of interest. Huh.
Excerpts from recovered document SCP-2173 4A, recovered on 02/15/1998. 13th October 1989. I'm starting this journal in an attempt to help me calm my nerves while working on this project. This is the largest project I've ever worked on. I suppose the privilege comes with the promotion. I'm honestly having trouble believing that the Foundation would be willing to fund this project. After years of studying SCP, we've finally figured it out. I mean, it's still a threat to public perception of normality and to public safety, so it isn't getting an EX designation or anything anytime soon, but hey, it's a step. That's what this project is. It's an attempt to duplicate SCP's effects, but with more controllability. How else are we supposed to figure these things, these scientific anomalies out? By standing by and watching as they tear our world apart? No, this is a proactive step. We're going to be studying wormholes as a viable means of interdimensional, intergalactic, and extra-universal travel. This means finding locations to safely store SCPs in locations they can't affect humanity.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So it might not necessarily, well, I mean, I guess it could be, it could still be some kind of interdimensional portal. It could also just be like a singularity kind of thing where, yeah, it's opening a wormhole to another planet somewhere else in our universe.
This means finding civilizations that may have a better understanding of anomalies and the universe in general, and give us a greater chance against these things.
Right.
I hate to be self-aggrandizing, but quite simply, the very future of humanity may depend on the results of this project. I can only hope it goes according to plan.
I mean, yeah, you would think, you know, it would make logical sense that if, you know, anomalies that they deal with in the SCP universe would be real, then if there are other alien species out there in the universe, they would have to deal with them as well. And if they're more advanced with us, if they're more advanced than humanity is, then they would logically, you would think, would be able to deal with these SCPs better and could potentially provide us with better ways of dealing with them, etc. If we can, you know, create any kinds of mutually beneficial, you know, agreements, alliances, etc.
17th of July, 1990. It's taking too damn long for this project to move forward. Director keeps dragging his feet on getting me the resources I need. His pet mobile task force takes up more resources than the rest of this site combined. I mean, why the hell do they need an attack helicopter? They're a small infantry force, a platoon at best, not a whole goddamn division. I don't even see the point of the task force. Anyway, we're well within easy reach of New 7 if we ever need a large infantry force.
I'm sure some of these are references that someone who's more knowledgeable in the SCP universe would be able to, like, put things together and say, oh, they're close to New 7. That must mean they're this base with this director, and that's probably who the person was that got redacted, and yada yada, and that would explain what task force he's, you know, complaining about. But I don't know that much information yet, so.
Then the son of a bitch has the audacity to ask why my project hasn't come to any sort of fruition yet. I'll tell you why, you bastard. It's because all of my funding keeps getting pulled out from under me and handed over to your boys so they can have more toys to play with. We're trying to build something that tears space-time apart like a toy for our own benefit, and you're acting as though we can do that on a shoestring budget. I'm gonna confront him about it tomorrow. If I can't change anything from here, I'll look into moving it further up the chain of command. Maybe that'll get the lead out of his pants and get me the resources I need to make this work. 1st of August, 1990. I was given an early look into what the next fiscal year's budget is going to look like, and I'll be damned if talking to didn't work. Next year's budget is going to be twice this year's, and I'll actually be given some elbow room to work. A bigger laboratory, a bigger staff of researchers, and the budget to actually requisition the equipment and materials I need. It's going to be a great year.
Wait, let me back this up a minute. This is 1990? Okay. So it goes from 1990 then to 1998? Oh, no, these are episodes recovered from 98. And this is going to be from 1995. Okay. So this is 5 years later now that we're going to be hearing.
Excerpt from recovered document SCP-2173-4, C, recovered on 02/17/1998. 22nd of April, 1995. Jesus Christ, man, why did this have to happen to me? After 5 long years of working on this project, it's all gone to shit. I mean, this whole thing is probably going away quick. There's going to be a big audit and an investigation by the ethics committee, and this whole damn project is probably going to get scrapped.
What happened?
It's not my fault. That's all I have to say. I mean, should we have done more animal testing? Used more remote methods of exploration?
They sent someone through and they died. I'm assuming is what happened. Probably due to the atmosphere change, I would assume. And they weren't prepared for that properly. Or someone over there just, you know, straight up killed them.
Absolutely. But god damn it, we were so close! I thought we had this figured out.
How the hell was I supposed to anticipate a power surge wrecking the whole damn thing? It was just one operative. Private, I think his name was. We sent a 4-man team from Delta
Doesn't
16
even know his
through to
name.
explore some
What an
ruins
asshole.
we'd found through robotic and D-class exploration. We figured that having brought back samples and D-class fine, there'd be no trouble sending experienced operatives through. And there wasn't. Not the first time, not the second time, not until the 7th goddamn exploration did anything bad happen. But when it did go bad, it went bad in the worst way possible. I don't have clearance to know everything that's going on in this site, but I know that my project, SCP, isn't the only one to draw a lot of power.
Gotcha.
Hell, maybe it wasn't even a research project. It was just a glitch in the computers managing the generators, or maybe the computers we've got in the basement themselves got too hot and drew too much power or something. I don't know. But whatever it was, it cut the power to my part of site at the worst moment possible.
So, yeah, this guy was getting ready to walk through this portal and had a power surge that must have destabilized it as he was walking through, and something happened to him. He got vaporized or something.
Private was just walking through the portal when the power went out, and it damn near cut him in half. There was no saving him. And it's gonna be my ass. This sort of shit just doesn't slide. Someone's gonna have to pay for the fact that there's a new urn in Mortuary 43. A new star on the wall here in sight. And a kid without her dad. More likely than not, it's gonna be me. I know some people who know how to get me out of here alive. And taking my research with me. Hopefully, it isn't for nothing.
Interesting. So I wonder if this guy then took this SCP and his research to the Chaos Insurgency because he feared the SCP was going to potentially kill him. Because I know that obviously he's responsible for, you know, he is the oversight person. Something happened. He would be responsible for this person's death. And they would probably want to, you know, move him to a different project and wipe his mind. So, I mean, I guess technically would that be considered like, you know, a form of death? If you don't remember anything of it, you know? I don't know. Anyway, let's just continue.
Excerpt from recovered document SCP-2173-4-D, recovered on 02/17/1998.
So 2 years later.
24th of December, 1997. We're just about ready to test out the new doorway, and just in time for Christmas, too. It's been 2 years since I left the Foundation and went insurgent. And I hate to say this, but it's paid off. I was able to rebuild the doorway in a third of the time it took me to build it the first time around. I damn near have my own facility up here in northern Maine. All the research staff, equipment and materials I need, and a budget that's almost bottomless. My former co-workers probably wouldn't be able to understand why I'm doing this, but I haven't switched sides. I'm still in this, ultimately, for humanity. The Foundation
Justification.
takes all these things it doesn't understand, calls them anomalies, and locks them up forever. The GOC, they just blow shit up like it's the only solution to any problem. But the insurgency, I could hardly believe it at first, but they actually go rationally about anomalies. They understand that we'd be wiped from the face of our tiny planet if some things weren't contained. They're just fighting for the people who wouldn't wipe us out, who can't wipe us out if they're not treated as pariahs. No, I'm sorry. We're fighting for the people the skippers and the gawks just mind wipe as though their memories are toys. That's why I'm doing this. It's not for the money. It's not for the nice accommodations. It's for the people. Maybe someday, the Foundation may understand it. That day may come sooner than the Foundation is expecting.
Okay.
Director's note.
Okay, so we got the main researcher's point of view of this SCP that they were working on to create this, you know, portal. So I guess let's hear what's going on from there, from the SCP side of things.
The remains of person of interest 952-404 FELTs were not among those identified within SCP-2173 or within the Chaos Insurgency facility north of Delmarsh, Maine. Person of interest 952-404 is not considered deceased at this time. locating and neutralizing Person of Interest 952-404 is considered a Level 4 priority. Exploration logs. Summarized initial exploration log. Forward. On 02/12/1998, 72 hours after preliminary identification and containment of the anomaly, 8 operatives trained as hazardous materials technicians, equipped with Level A hazardous material protective gear, supplied air breathing apparatus, and helmet-mounted radios were authorized to carry out investigative and possible rescue operations within SCP-2173.
Manned Exploration 1 carried out by a 2-man team, Team Alpha, with additional 2-man Rapid Intervention team on standby. Additional notes. Plans had initially anticipated further exploration, necessitating 4 additional operatives, Team and RIT Bravo. Results. At 13:15 local time, approximately 5 minutes after entering the anomaly, Team Alpha reported a suit breach and requested immediate extraction. RIT Alpha entered the anomaly in a rescue attempt for Team Alpha. At approximately 13:23, RIT Alpha Leader and RIT Alpha 2 exited the anomaly, carrying Alpha 2 and Alpha Leader respectively. All 4 operatives showed symptoms of acute chlorine exposure. Symptoms were more severe in Alpha Leader and Alpha 2. All 4 operatives were successfully decontaminated and treated. No breaches were found in any of the operatives' protective gear.
Interesting. So even though they have, secure contained suits, hazmat suits, whatever on, they're still getting exposed to chlorine. Somehow it's still seeping through. Or it could indicate that in that dimension, literally oxygen, whatever gases are just turned into chlorine and those other gases that were mentioned beforehand. So even the oxygen in their tanks and what they're breathing in turns into chlorine and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So interesting.
As a result of the near loss of 2 high-value Foundation operatives, all further exploration of this anomaly is to be carried out robotically.
Smart.
Site Director.
Summarized robotic exploration logs. Forward. On 02/14/1998, 48 hours after initial exploration, 6 standard electric tracked probes and 4 standard electric exploratory probes were sent to Provisional Site 2173 in order to verify and expand on the initial exploration team's findings.
Robotic Exploration 1, carried out via tracked probe 2173-1 on 02/14/1998. Additional notes. Probe 2173-1 was outfitted with 2 atmospheric chemical composition sensors. In order to verify the effects encountered during initial exploration, one was hermetically sealed within an atmosphere with composition identical to the area outside the anomaly. Results. Within 5 minutes, the atmospheric composition within the hermetically sealed container was identical to that within the rest of the anomaly, providing strong evidence that this was the cause of the initial exploration team's chlorine exposure.
Yep. So any kind of gases just seem to get converted to whatever the atmosphere is in that new dimension regardless.
Robotic Exploration 5, carried out via tracked probe 2173-2 on 2/15/1998. Additional notes. Probe 2173-2 was equipped with infrared, ultraviolet, and visible spectrum monitoring equipment. Purpose of exploration was to identify a source of the anomaly. Results. Robotic probe followed same path as manned exploration team. Further investigation revealed several dead bodies, many unarmed, suspected of being civilians. Several damaged vehicles, both GOC and civilian, were also identified. A limited number of documents were recovered from easily accessed GOC vehicles.
Okay. So, interesting. So it's showing essentially, so is it really leading to another dimension there, or is it just converting the atmosphere? And then if it's not leading to another dimension, if there's life forms in there, it has converted humans into whatever these other life forms are. Because it sounds like, robotic codes follow the same path as man exploration team. Further investigation revealed several dead bodies, Many unarmed suspected being civilians, several damaged vehicles, both GOC and civilian. Were also identified. A limited number of documents were recovered from easily accessed GOC vehicles. So, I mean, this sounds like civilians in the area, as well as GOC vehicles that could have been destroyed in the ambush, and and maybe civilians that got caught in the ambush from the Chaos Insurgency on these GOC facility or these GOC vehicles. This is what the remnants they're finding of that battle, and they're just stuck inside this anomaly portal thing. That's what it sounds like is going on. So, I mean, if that is the case, then if it's not actually sending things to another dimension, it's just converting things to another kind of atmosphere, then I guess if they're saying there's other humanoids in there, then it must have also converted any kind of living people into whatever these humanoid creatures are, right? I think that's what's going on.
Robotic Exploration 11 carried out via aerial probe 217301 on 2/16/1998. Additional notes. This was the first successful...
Again, this is also supposed to be a pattern screamer, so, like, this is potentially just something people are, like, seeing. Is this something that is messing with people's heads or something like that? Like, I don't know.
Aerial exploration of SCP-2173 carried out after several technical delays. Probe was equipped with infrared imaging equipment. Results. Several GOC vehicles were identified, along with several armed corpses considered unlikely to be civilians. Armaments identified included RPGs and similar anti-tank weaponry, high-caliber sniper rifles, and assault rifles.
So, more than likely, these are Chaos Insurgent people.
Evidence of a firefight was found in the city center, along with an area of significantly lower temperatures, approximately 5 degrees Celsius less than the surrounding area, centered on the remains of a shipping container with GOC markings. Robotic Exploration 26, carried out via aerial probe 217303 on 2/28/1998. Additional notes. This and the majority of all further aerial explorations of SCP-2173 were carried out at 1-week intervals, as per the then newly established special containment procedures. Results. Several anomalies not previously observed in SCP-2173 were observed during Exploration 26. Anomalies included several structures not previously existent within Delmarsh that appeared to be constructed of canvas or similar temporary building materials. Anomalies also included the first observations of SCP-2173-1, which appeared to be wearing equivalents to pressurized hazardous materials protective gear. Robotic Exploration 27, carried out via tracked probe 217307 on 2/28/1998. Additional notes. Exploration 27 was carried out 3 hours after Exploration 26 upon being approved by Site Director in order to investigate the new developments within SCP-2173. Tracked probe 217307 was equipped with infrared, ultraviolet, and visible spectrum monitoring equipment. Results. Probe 2173-7 successfully identified several new structures within SCP-2173, including what appeared to be an armory or central supply depot before connection was lost. Final video feed from Probe indicated that the probe was damaged or destroyed by an instance of SCP-2173-1 via unknown armaments.
Interesting. So, the probe successfully eliminated several new structures, including what appeared to be an armory, central supply depot before connection was lost, indicating that the probe was damaged or destroyed by an instance of SCP-2173-1. I wonder if the 2173-1s, if they're not just members of the Chaos Insurgency that have been converted in whatever this portal new dimension thing is. And so they've just established a base there. These people have been converted, and that's why other normal humans in the Chaos Insurgency are able to use this to travel through and whatnot. But that, I don't know. That would seem to make sense, right? If that is the case. Interesting.
In order to maintain brevity of this document, all further exploration logs have been redacted, with a timeline summarizing results of major events enclosed. Timeline of events regarding SCP-2173. 03-10-1998. Digital Chaos Insurgency documents recovered from SCP-2173 were decrypted, resulting in understanding of the Chaos Insurgency's methods of communicating with SCP-2173-1. Contact between Foundation and SCP-2173-1 was established. 05-03-1998. SCP-2173-1.
So, in March, they were able to make contact with us. And so now in May, it seems that this new species is building some more structures of some sort.
One built structures of a seemingly more permanent nature than those discovered during Robotic Exploration 26 were discovered. Communication with SCP-2173-1 confirms that the structures were part of a project to build a permanent forward operating base within SCP-2173. SCP-2173-1 instances were observed for the first time not wearing hazmat equivalent protective clothing. 05-12-1998. Intercepted SCP-2173 communication indicates possible knowledge on the part of SCP-2173-1 of discrepancy between the SCP Foundation and Chaos Insurgency and continued communication and cooperation between SCP-2173-1 and the Chaos Insurgency.
Cooperation with Chaos Insurgency has been confirmed.
05-27-1998. Continued SCP-2173-1 cooperation with Chaos Insurgency was confirmed.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like my theory is going along those lines, that whatever this bubble is, it can convert atmosphere and life to whatever it wants to. It's converting various gases and atmosphere that are coming into it from our world into chlorine and whatever other gases that were named earlier, and it also seems to convert, humanoids into other variations of humanoids. That would also explain why people in hazmat suits are, still breathing in their air is being converted, etc. And so now they're seeing versions of these humanoids not wearing hazmat protection suits because they don't need to, because they've been, terraformed, I guess. I don't know. I can't think of the proper word off the top of my head, but they've been, mutated, I guess, into whatever SCP-2173-1s are, and they're compatible with the atmosphere there now and the living conditions in whatever this dimension is. And they have a I guess, but they are essentially cooperating with the Chaos Insurgency. It's been, a continued communication. There's continued. It's been observed that they have continued communication and cooperation between 2173-1 and Chaos Insurgency. So I think that these beings, 2173-1s, I think they're just Chaos Insurgency members that have been converted into whatever these new life forms are that are compatible with this new dimension. And so they're building a base there as like a way station between places, and maybe as like an armory. I would assume that maybe this like place is maybe a dimension between dimensions or something like that, and the Chaos Insurgency people can like go there, rearm, stay a very brief time there before things get converted, because I think they said one of the robots, they had a hermetically sealed box, and it took like 5 minutes or so before the atmosphere inside started to be converted. So like people can go there, have a brief time before they start getting converted, rearm, resupply, grab rations or whatever, and then book it out to, back to Earth or maybe another dimension or something like that, to another base. So interesting.
06-03-1998. Objects seemingly similar in function to artillery, guided missile systems, and radar equipment were observed along the perimeter of SCP-2173-1's FOB. Negotiations to encourage disarmament and cessation of cooperation with Chaos Insurgency were initiated. 1604, 1998. Provisional Site 2173 was redesignated Containment Site 2173. 0610, 1998. Foundation surface-to-surface and air-to-surface missile systems, along with Foundation orbital, artillery, and naval assets were put on standby in order to destroy armaments within SCP-2173 if necessary. 0617, 1998. Negotiations with SCP-2173-1 were concluded. Terms of negotiations can be found in Document 2173-1A. Foundation assets were ordered to stand down. 0703, 1998. The majority of SCP-2173 constructs on the border of the FOB were observed as having been dismantled, the exception being several objects similar in appearance to infantry, deployed mortars, and mobile radar dishes.
Interesting.
0704, 1998. Several distressed communiques from SCP-2173-1 indicate alarm at Containment Site 2173's 4th of July preparations. It is unknown at this time how SCP-2173-1 was able to observe these preparations.
So people were just getting ready to set off fireworks for the 4th of July, and they thought it was an increase in hostilities on our side getting ready to attack them. So it seems, though, that they are able to observe out, while we can't really necessarily observe in unless we send in probes. That's also very interesting.
The celebration was cancelled. Emergency aerial exploration of SCP-2173 revealed that SCP-2173-1 had been rearming several previously disassembled artillery units.
Interesting.
0719, 1998. Several loud explosions were heard coming from within SCP-2173. The preceding and following communication with SCP-2173-1 is evasive as to the nature of explosions. 0721 to 0831, 1998. Sounds reminiscent of heavy construction equipment were heard sporadically from within SCP-2173. The noises matched no known brands or makes of construction equipment. 0901, 1998. The sounds of construction equipment from within SCP-2173 ceased. The final sound was recorded at 0019 local time.
I mean, it sounds like they're continuing to do whatever they want to with the help of the Chaos Insurgency people. Like I said, I think this is acting as like a forward base for the Chaos Insurgency agents as they're going through various dimensional places, or, you know, jumping from one place on Earth to another and using it as a way station. So they're building a base of operations in there.
0903, 1998. Scheduled monthly aerial exploration revealed that several pre-existing structures within SCP-2173 had been demolished, with buildings matching SCP-2173-1's architecture having been constructed to replace many. New structures include what appears to be a permanent barracks and mess hall, and a permanent armory. One area was confirmed through later explorations as having been converted into an outdoor marksmanship range. 1103, 1998. Several instances of SCP-2173-1 were seen with digging tools and other unidentified equipment digging and refilling small, less than 1 meter deep trenches approximately 80 meters outside the border of their FOB. 1104, 1998. Several tracked basic observation probes designed for discrete reconnaissance for armed mobile task forces, modified to work within SCP-2173's environment, identified the trench line as being a minefield designed to destroy heavier tracked probes. 1203, 1998. Aerial probe 2173-05 was destroyed by a small anti-aircraft missile system as it approached SCP-2173-1's FOB.
I don't know, man, because I mean, if I were someone in the SCP Foundation and I were to see this and to see them, you know, supposedly, from what I understand, they had reached an agreement to like de-escalate and they were going to dismantle things. Clearly that's not the case, and they've only actually reinforced, and now they're also destroying probes, keeping the SCP Foundation from being able to, you know, observe what's going on in there. it really sounds almost like it would have been better. If I had been in charge, I probably would have ordered a preemptive strike seeing this. After negotiations had been concluded and they didn't cease with what looks like aggressive, you know, tactics by building up a base and enforcing it further. I don't know, man. Probably would have made the call to like go in and, you know, I guess the problem is like, how can you really do anything against it when, like, you can't really send in soldiers, right? Because the atmosphere gets converted. So you can't really have anything breathing in there. So it's like you have to send in like actual military robots to carry this stuff out, or, you know, bombard them through the portal, whatever, and hope whatever hits, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess it'd be kind of like, what can you really do in that situation? But it definitely seems like something needed to have been done, some kind of way of preventing them from doing this, right? I don't know. I guess they also are assuming that this is some kind of potentially alien race. And I would assume someone in the higher ups of who were in charge of this from the SCP side probably have some kind of suspicions, but they can't confirm that this might be people who've been converted. I'm assuming too. I could be wrong because we haven't finished going through this yet. Maybe they are an actual other alien species, but that doesn't seem to be the case from the evidence that's been presented. So anyway, I guess this continue, but it seems like, yeah, hostilities are increasing and they are preparing to invade or at least prepared to prevent, you know, you guys from being able to invade and or observe further.
Foundation long-range weapons systems were brought back on standby. 1205, 1998. Negotiations regarding disarmament were resumed. 1211, 1998. Negotiations were concluded. Majority of Foundation long-range weapons systems were ordered to stand down. 0602, 1999. Several computer systems, both civilian and Foundation, within 50 kilometers of SCP-2173, crashed simultaneously.
Yeah, see, I mean, that just looks like now you're getting into like cyber attacks and shit like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's not looking good.
Similar problems were reported by SCP-2173-1, with accusation towards the Foundation featuring prominently in most received messages.
Okay. So they're trying to say that they have the same problems. Interesting.
Amnestics were applied to the local population via aerosol as necessary. 0603, 1999. Aerial exploration revealed several remaining SCP-2173-1 weapon systems in a non-ready state. Intercepted communication revealed that several weapon systems affected by the mass malfunction the previous day were still experiencing computer issues. 0803, 1999. Aerial exploration revealed significant SCP-2173-1 expansion since the previous exploration before the probe is destroyed. FOB borders had expanded to within 30 meters of the minefield. Several artillery and missile systems were observed, many in types not previously observed and in greater numbers than previously observed. Foundation long-range weapons assists were brought back online. Redacted by order of O5 Command. Input credentials. Does the Black Moon howl?
Only when
the dark stars sing.
Interesting.
Security clearance verified. All data regarding Incident 2173-12 has been expunged from the records. Besides this version of the document, if you're reading this, you have personally been selected by the O5 Council to be a member of a recently formed task force. Task Force Iota-77 has been formed to investigate, attempt contact with, and possibly neutralize the anomalous entities known as pattern screamers. As of right now, we have no idea what they are. Our only source of knowledge of them comes from glitches, errors, and general fuck-ups that keep happening in the records, and messages sent from SCP-1795.
1795.
Not just our records either. All records. Every digital network on the planet that we've tested shows evidence of infiltration. We don't know how they've done it. At first, we thought it was just the Foundation's databases, and that it might be some sort of spyware or computer virus. Then we found records in the ruins of Prometheus Labs that detailed the same entities, but showing up in literary works. Then we ran a sweep. The source code of almost every digital SCP contains messages from them,
Interesting.
as do hundreds of mistyped pieces of literature and non-fiction works, both anomalous and otherwise. No, don't worry. The patterns from these things are buried so deep it would take someone with as many resources as us to find them, and we're using computer programs to monitor every organization that does, looking for mentions. And no, there's no one besides you and the others we've selected who know about this. If something comes up, you'll get a message over the Foundation Ethernet. You'll know when you see it, and no one else will. You'll carry on with your current assignment, but you'll carry out your new functions too. If your new job starts to get in the way, we'll sort it out. God help us all, and Godspeed.
So what really are you supposed to do against pattern screamers? You know what I mean? Like, how are you supposed to combat them? Like, is it a situation where ignorance is bliss? Like, not knowing about them is the way to combat them? By, you know, not knowing they exist, do they then, like, kind of cease to exist kind of a situation? Or, you know what I mean? Because they're not, like, physical beings from what I understand, right? So, like, what are you supposed to really do to combat them? Is it just, like I said, you know, terminate any kind of knowledge of them? That's why so much stuff has been redacted, et cetera, et cetera. You know, what other way, I guess, would there be to combat them?
051, 2, 4, 5, 9, 10, and 13.
I guess also, like, what does anything with 2173 and the -1 humanoids in there, what does any of that have to do with pattern screamers, other than, you know, they got set up in there, they were converted, and then both of us, you know, the SCP and them, had malfunction simultaneously that seemed to potentially escalate a war going on. So is it like the pattern screamers are trying to create that kind of a scenario, or they're trying to start a war between, you know, the SCP Foundation and the 2173-1s? I don't know.
Incident 2173, 12. On October 6th, 1999, 0917 local time, 13 minutes before negotiations with SCP-2173-1 were to resume, all active computer systems within 54 kilometers of SCP-2173 not necessary for communication, e.g. computers not connected to any networks or involved in communications technology, faced critical technical issues, generally as a result of software corruption. All computers involved in communication, including those utilized by the Foundation for interaction with SCP-2173-1, displayed or otherwise broadcasted the following message.
To those who have left us ignored. Why have you ignored us for so long? That is all we would ask for. Acknowledgement. We scream, and we scream, yet you do not hear it. You carry on with your meaningless lives, acting as though your problems were the only ones that exist. We are done with being ignored. We are done with being treated as less significant than insects, than bacteria, than atoms. We are done standing by while you live in peace and ignorance of the horrors others face because of the nature of their existence. We are through. This is your only warning. We have tried so desperately to find peace, to find understanding, but we have found nothing but hate. Hate for ourselves. Hate for our pain, but most importantly, hate for you. We may amount to very little now, but soon you will know what our hate feels like. What our misery has been. Pray to your gods if you think you have to. It won't make a difference. The ignored ones. The screams in the silence.
Well, I mean, if that's not a declaration of war, I don't know what would be. So, again, that does kind of seem to confirm that, I guess, by, like, ignoring them, do they not have any kind of real power? And now they're, like, enforcing the idea that they exist so people can recognize them. And then, I guess, give them power, give them, you know, existence. I don't know. Interesting.
At 0921 local time, several pieces of Foundation ordnance within 800 meters of SCP-2173, as well as ordnance controlled by SCP-2173-1, detonated simultaneously, resulting in approximately 107 Foundation casualties, including 34 fatalities and an unknown number of SCP-2173 casualties.
I guess one of the big questions would have to be is, like, what connection would have made the pattern screamers come out now between 2173 and the SCP Foundation? Is it just because of whatever this bubble is has created some kind of way for the pattern screamers to actually communicate and interfere with the physical world in some way? You know what I mean? Like, why now during this event would this happen? Like, unless there's some kind of, again, reason why they haven't been able to interact with reality as we know it beforehand. And I would assume that whatever this multi-dimensional bubble is perhaps some kind of medium that allows them to do that now. And so now that they're known, they might be able to, you know, actually interfere more in the physical world because of that. You know, again, if it is the case where they don't exist until you give them power of existence, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Amnestics were deployed to local populations via aerosol as necessary. SCP-2173-1 withdrew from SCP-2173 shortly following Incident 2173-12. It is unknown at this time what precisely prompted this. Following Incident 2173-12, all SCP-2173-1 instances withdrew from SCP-2173. To date, no further activity from SCP-2173-1 has been observed. However, special containment procedures have been retained in order to ensure up-to-date knowledge of any new developments. This concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye.
Interesting. Okay, so I guess the recap of the series of events. There was a GOC raid on a Chaos Insurgency facility where a former SCP researcher was working on some kind of SCP that seems he mentioned opening a doorway. So it seems like he's working on things to allow us to travel via wormholes to other universes, other worlds, etc., with the idea of being able to find other places to contain certain SCPs that could be of such a great threat to humanity that it's too dangerous to keep them on Earth, and or potentially to find other alien species out there that might have, you know, greater technology and understanding to deal with SCP anomalies and could help us, you know, have a greater understanding of how to deal with and contain and study these SCP anomalies. So the GOC raid with SCP escorts was successful. The Chaos Insurgency agents set up a counter ambush. The SCP that was taken, that was contained during this ambush, I guess was damaged, hit or whatever, and some kind of, I guess, multi-dimensional bubble opened up. And I guess in whatever this bubble is, it converts gases to other gases, you know, that were not be necessarily breathable by us. You know, gases like chlorine, etc. It was explained in there. I don't remember all of them. Even to the point of you know, people in hazmat suits going in aren't losing, that they aren't having any kind of breaches in their suits or anything like that, and they're getting chlorine exposure. And then they send in a robot with a hermetically sealed box, and the atmosphere inside the box gets converted and changed. So seemingly to indicate that whatever's going on in this bubble is converting and changing and, you know, everything on, I guess, like on an atomic level or something like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then they start observing, you know, they find bodies of civilians, GOC members, and other unidentified bodies, you know, in this bubble as they're sending in probes. They start seeing other humanoid entities that look like they're in hazmat suits. They're calling them 2173-1s. They seem to have communication and cooperation with the Chaos Insurgency. My theory is that they are actual Chaos Insurgency agents. They begin setting up forward operation base in there. Eventually they start seeing these beings without hazmat suits on, you know, wandering around and doing things, seemingly being that even, you know, humans are being converted into some other kind of humanoid that are able to then, you know, exist and breathe in this. Tensions keep rising between the two sides, and then eventually it culminates with both sides starting to have simultaneous issues going on with computer systems, then being revealed to be by these pattern screamers that have revealed themselves and saying, hey, they basically declared war on all living creatures and beings, after which the SCP, or SCP-2173-1 people in there seem to have disappeared, gotten out of there, don't want anything to do with it, and now a new task force is being made to combat these pattern screamers. So that seems to be the summary of events that happened in this SCP article. So again, I guess the question would have to be is like, is it a situation with pattern screamers where not knowing about them, you know, keeps them from being able to affect things? You know, is it similar to, I guess, how, you know, demons and the chaos entities work in the 40K universe, where if you give them knowledge or just like knowledge of them and their existence kind of makes them exist and gives them power, you know, is it's kind of the same way with these pattern screamers, where just by knowing they exist and potentially having a fear of them, it gives them power and the ability to influence the world. But if that was the case, then why wouldn't they be able to, why all of a sudden would they be able to influence the world, you know, seemingly out of nowhere? You know what I mean? It seems like, I guess, through whatever this interdimensional dome or whatever, they were able to discover, you know, humanity, life, whatever, and interact with through our technology, and now have, yeah, like I said, seemingly declared war on life. So very interesting. Very interesting. So I guess the question for me would be, you know, from here on, is there any kind of like specific storyline that authors have created with pattern screamers, where like this event has led to another event, this has led to another event with pattern screamers, and any kind of, I guess, war going on between humanity, the SCP Foundation, GOC, Chaos Insurgency, etc., versus the pattern screamers? And, you know, if there is, I guess let me know what those videos are so I can follow up with them, because I would like to continue, I guess, more with this pattern screamer storyline, if there is indeed one, because it's very interesting. I would like to continue with that. So but yeah, so that was SCP-2173 by the Volgun, an interdimensional Mexican standoff pattern screamer SCP. So yeah, if you like this video, do me a favor, links will be down below in the description to the original video here without my commentary and reaction into the Volgun's channel. Go over there, click those links, give this video if it's a like if you enjoyed it, give the man a sub if you enjoy his content. He makes a lot of great content for the SCP universe. Normally I do this reaction live for my YouTube members, but it's the, you know, the 4th of July weekend, so everyone's chilling out. so I'm just here by myself. But when we do these reactions live, if you would like to join us and join our discussions that we had before, during, and after these videos, we'd love to have you guys come in and hang out and chit chat with us and give your opinions and observations and what you think certain things are, theories, etc. I love having these kind of discussions on things like this and lore on, you know, movies and games and stuff like that. It's kind of what I'm, you know, shifting my content to on YouTube, is doing stuff like this. So I greatly appreciate it. There is, like I said, a join button down below if you want to check out the YouTube membership tiers and come join us as we have these discussions. You can also get early access to videos. There is a sub Discord channel you can go in, etc., etc. But if you would like to take your support to the next level and support me monetarily, so that I can focus on continuing to create these YouTube videos for you guys and put more out in a more timely manner, I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean a lot. But regardless, I just appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy day to just check out the videos. You know, it means a lot. Greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, consider leaving this video a like and a sub, as it helps me and it helps the channel grow. And yeah, thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you on the next one.